Helping with managing projects and tasks is one of the things that Notion is really good at. And today I'm going to teach you a simple way to automate status updates of your projects based on the status of their related tasks. So let's get right into it. All right, welcome to my Notion workspace where I have already set up a simple page with exactly the database setup that we are looking to automate today, which is first a projects database where we have one project called project number 1 with a status property that has the default options for not started, in progress, and done. And of course, we have our related task over here, which you can find in the database below, which is our task database where we have task 1, task 2, and task number 3. Also with the same style of status property with the default options. And you can also see they also have the relation back to project 1. So we have one project with 3 related tasks. Now the automation that we're going to set up today is related to the status property, because I want the project status property to automatically respond to changes to the status property for all our tasks. So when, for example, all of my tasks are getting marked as done one by one, in the end, I want to automatically also have the status of the project marked as done. Likewise, when still one of them is either marked as in progress or as not started, I want to keep the entire project status on in progress. And likewise, I also, when none of the tasks have been started yet, I also want the automation to automatically update the project status to not started, so that no matter at which stage of the project we're in, we always have an up-to-date status. To achieve this, we actually only need one automation in our task database. So I click on the little lightning icon here to open up the automation menu for that database. And I give it a fitting title. In my case, I'm going to call this one Project Status Update. I keep the selection here set to all pages in task, that's correct. Next up, I have to select the trigger for my automation, for which I'm going to select the status property, and I'm going to set this to any option, so that this automation triggers whenever the status is updated. Which brings us to the next step, which is defining our actions. As the first action, I'm going to select define variable. I'm going to give a name to this variable and I'm going to call it project. Then I'm going to click on this symbol in this import field to edit this variable as a formula. And in the formula editor, the first thing I'm going to click is trigger page, followed by a dot. Then I'm going to select projects from the list, which is our relation to the projects we have. I'm going to write another dot, followed by writing first and parenthesis, which is going to change the type of our output from this variable to a block, which means it is a single page in Notion. And then I click on save to define this variable. Now I have to add another action, so I'm going to click on add action and I'm going to select edit pages in, because I actually want to edit pages in the project database. So here I'm going to select this one. And now you will see why we had to define the variable first, because now the select database input menu here allows me to choose the variable that we have just defined. So here I can select the project variable now, which we have defined up here. Now I'm going to click on edit a property and I'm going to select the status property from the projects database. I then open the drop-down menu and select custom formula again. And now it's time to input our formula that checks the status of all the related tasks of the project, and then based on this decides which status to assign to the project. So for this we need multiple if conditions, which is why I'm going to use the ifs formula. Let's give myself some space here. I'm going to jump into a new line. So now let's add our 3 different if conditions that we have here. The first one being, if all tasks are marked as done, mark the project as done. The second one being, if all the tasks are marked as not started, then set also the project to not started. And if neither of these two are true, which means at least one of the tasks has either already been done or is in progress, then also set the project to in progress. And to add the first condition here, we are going to use the every function, which allows me to check if all the tasks have the same value or not and do an action based on this. So for it, I'm going to write every followed by a parenthesis. Then I'm going to select project down here from the list. Then I write a dot and I'm going to click on the task relation from the list here. And then I'm going to write another dot followed by map with open parenthesis. And I'm going to write current dot And now I'm going to select the status. So now I'm checking the status of the different tasks, and I'm going to close the parenthesis here. And now I write a comma, and I write another current, because this is now checking for the condition if all of them have the same status. So I write current equals, and I first want to check for the done status. So I'm checking, do all the tasks have the done status? Do every of the tasks, by using the every function, have the same status? In this case, the done status. I'm going to check this. And if it's the case, so if this formula returns a true, then I want to set the status of the project to done. So let me walk you quickly through this line. We use the every function to check whether or not the status of the different tasks related to this project are currently all marked as done. If so, we are also setting the project status to done. But now I also have another condition, so I write a comma, and then I'm going to copy this entire line, and I'm going to jump to the next line by using Shift and Enter, and I'm going to paste this line. And now all I have to do to change the statuses here is to write not started instead of done. Because for this condition, when all tasks are marked as not started, I also want to mark the project as not started. I can follow this by another comma because we have one more condition, because if neither of these two apply, then we are simply going to set the status to in progress. And in this case, we don't have to apply the for logic anymore, because it simply is going to be applied when neither the first one nor the second one are being applied, which leaves the only option then that the project is currently in progress. And you can also see below now that our formula syntax has been marked as valid. So everything is looking good, and we can simply click on save up here. And this is already everything we need to set up for this automation. I can now click on enable, and you will see a little pop-up here. And you can also see that an automation is active by checking the automations menu, and you can also activate or pause the automation here. And now let's take the automation for a spin and see if it works by changing the status of our tasks, and by then taking a look at the project status up here. So I'm going to change the status of task 1 to done, which should now already change the status of our project to in progress. And here you can see it has been doing that just a few seconds after. Now let's see what happens when we also change the other two tasks to done, which should now change the status of our project to done, as you can see here. But maybe now I have one task was in review, I'm setting it back to in progress because it's not fully done yet. Then our project status should now again jump back to in progress. And now for the last case, let's check what happens when we change the status of all our tasks back to not started. Then also the project status should go back to not started, and this also works. So now this automation works for all the different status conditions that can be there, which is either all task marked as done, or all task marked as not started, or anything in between. I hope that this tutorial helps you to set up and refine your own cross-database automation setup, whether that's for project and task management or any other of the many different use cases that this logic can be applied to. For written step-by-step instructions, check out the tutorial post on my website by following the link in the description below. Please don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to my channel if you found this tutorial helpful. And leave a comment below this video to let me know what kind of tutorial you would like to see next. Also, make sure to sign up to my free newsletter to stay in the loop about new videos and other content, and to get access to exclusive launch discounts for all of my upcoming templates.